Welcome to another episode of Detective D. So we finished the prologue, we finished chapter 1. We didn't actually find out Linfei's killer. We just, what we did do, that was super effective, was get her father out of prison, because clearly he didn't kill her. Like, I know that there is this, myth about, blindness giving you superpowers and the other senses and all that stuff, but come on, man. Cutting out her heart. But yeah, now we're starting on a new case, and our objective is to try to figure out what's going on behind this second woman's murder, and if this second woman's murder has any connection to Linfei's murder, and whether this is a political ploy to completely undermine Empress Wu's reign. So that's what we're trying to find out. I think so, though. This definitely feels like a serial killer kind of bit, and there's definitely... It would be hard to believe that there isn't any political intent. Ooh, can we go over here? I want to go over here. Lieutenant Ma. Oh, there's our lieutenant. I did not recognize him. Magistrate D, I'm so glad to see you. I am so glad to see you too. As you've no doubt heard by now, it's happened again. Sometime between 2 and 3 hours ago, the lady of this house was brutally murdered while she was reading in the study. Go on. It's a horrible mess, just like what happened to Linfei. It took me a moment just to gather myself after I saw the body. It was like a flashback, except it wasn't. These two women, they've been murdered in the exact same way. Serial killer! Called it! What else have you found out? Well, actually, hold on, back up. I didn't actually call it, okay? Because the thing is, it could be two different people killing within the same manner. You know, we always have to keep in mind that people do work together when it comes to committing crimes. Like, you have the loners, but then you also have, what do you call them? The duo? At least the duo. What else have you found out? This place belongs to Lam Haifeng. It's either Haifeng or Haifeng. I want to go with Haifeng. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. The victim was his wife, a young woman named Shi Wenyan. Apparently, they've been married less than a month. No! No! That's so sad. That is so sad. The Lams employ an elderly house steward and 2 servants, but all 3 live on a small adjacent residence south of the main compound. As far as we know, the 3 of them had completed their task for the day and had returned to the residence when the murder took place. This is also kind of sounding like what happened in the prologue, because wasn't there only 3 servants in that one too? The front gate has a rather flimsy lock which our killer seems to have picked without difficulty. Well... Never use a flimsy lock, you know. Coroner Yao is in there examining the body now. He can tell you more about the crime scene. Did you speak to the husband? Only briefly. He seemed quite shaken, but he seems to have a solid alibi. He's in the study now, waiting to speak to you. Thank you, Lieutenant. You stay here and make sure no one goes in or out. And also make sure that nobody comes up and sneaks behind you and knock you out on the head. That's odd. There's a gap in the railing. There's also a matching gap on the other side. It looks like there is a missing walkway that connects this platform to the one across the way. So... I guess... I guess... He seems unsettled. These killings have put me on edge. My wife is worried for me, but the truth is I can't help but worry about her. I've arranged for her to stay with her parents while this case is still unresolved. I don't know if that's a smart idea, but I'll, you know what? I'm not gonna blame you. Because these killings, it doesn't seem to matter where you are, honestly. So we gotta figure out a way to get over here, because there's something interesting in there. Okay. Ooh. And there's the husband. I think I want to talk to the husband. Ooh. There's a rose? Must pick that up. But anyway, let's talk to the husband. Actually, let's look at stuff. I want to pick up stuff before I talk to everybody. Another rose. It looks like our killer has a taste for theatrics. But why a rose? Why do you have to make it so obvious that you're a serial killer? General Zhang has collected a lifetime of knowledge in this room. This bookcase contains books and scrolls about the arts, philosophy, and the game of Wakey? This library spans a great deal of subject matters. This bookcase contains books and scrolls about history, politics, and warfare. What's this? Pick up this book. It's a book on classical literature. The interior pages have been torn up. There's an inscription. It reads, "To my dearest beloved, may your days be filled with lovely words and even lovelier thoughts. Hai Feng." Once again, the killer exploited a personal item belonging to the victim's closest relation, in this case her husband. It's the same method he used to coerce Linfei into surrendering to him. Both young women were unusually brave and selfless. Few could sacrifice themselves that way. Yet my intuition tells me something is amiss. Why did they act so passively in the face of such a threat? Well, the only thing I can think of is abuse. That's the only explanation. Like, this killer is affiliated with something that they know, or they know the killer personally. Lieutenant Mao was right. Her wounds match those found on Zhu Linfei. There you are. I was wondering when you would join us. Okay, let me go into the right accent. I hope you've had ample time to digest your last meal. I had to send Lieutenant Ma outside when his face started to turn pale. Thank you, Coroner Yao. I think I will manage. Good. It's not every day one sees this kind of brutality. This poor girl has been eviscerated and left exposed. As soon as we're done here, I'll have some constables take her back to the morgue. Of course, let's make sure she's transported with care. Is a preliminary report ready? Yes, I finished my initial examination. This girl might be dead, but she still has a lot to tell us. What can you tell me about the victim? She was in her early 20s, 24 according to her husband. Her sturdy build suggests an active and healthy lifestyle. Yes, she does seem particularly fit and strong. I mean, I can't tell. She's all pixels to me. Yes, just like Zhu Linfei. In fact, the similarities between them struck me immediately. They share a remarkable combination of beauty and strength. If the same man is responsible for those two killings, I say he's choosing targets rather deliberately. What can you tell me about the cause of death? All sides point to asphyxia. The killer most likely stood behind her and strangled her with some kind of rope or cloth, but alas, no signs of a struggle or the murder weapon. She was then cut open posthumously to facilitate the removal of her heart. I'd say she died no more than 3 hours ago. Are there any clues in the bloodstain patterns? I'm glad you asked. The blood patterns themselves offer no revelations, but they do suggest that her killer might be becoming more efficient. How so? Take a closer look. The large laceration in her chest has made her bleed profusely, which is to be expected, but unlike last time, the killer's left no bloody footprint behind. Lieutenant Ma won't get to practice his dueling skills this time. So our killer is honing his skills. Precisely. You must have used rags to manage the initial blood loss. Most of the blood you see here was likely discharged after he left the scene. Thank you, Coroner Yao. I'll leave her under your care. Well, this is all brutal. Excuse me, Lam Haifeng? Mr. Lam? Mr. Lam! Yes, I'm La Haifeng. Are you alright? His wife is naked on the floor with her chest open and she's dead. How is he alright? I'm Magistrate D. Rinji. I'm in charge of this inquiry. I apologize for my poor manners. My mind is a jumbled mess. There will be time for grief. For now, you must gather yourself. I only have a few questions. Of course, please proceed. I want to help you in any way I can. I know time is of the essence. Tell me about yourself. Had you asked me that question on any other day, I could have given you an assertive response. Son of a great general, I was once a golden boy destined for greatness. At least that was what I was told. But in my heart of hearts I knew that life was not for me. I grew up with a sword in hand, but it was a lie. I could never fulfill my father's legacy. Let me guess, he loves books. There is no dishonor in choosing your own path. I thought so as well. Yet here I stand, faced with utter ruin. My only love viciously taken from me. My life shattered into 1,000 pieces. Oh, he is definitely a poet. Perhaps I deserve this fate for my filial betrayals. What? You must remain resolute. Do you think the memory of your wife deserves to be tarnished by doubt? You are right. Wenyan gave me the 2 happiest months of my life. I will always cherish that. Only 2. Tell me more about your wife, Shi Wenyan. After my father died, I was lost and alone. I had no sense of purpose, no direction. Then I met Wenyan. She was a beacon of hope. She helped me see a new life, divorced from the military duties that had shackled me for so long. I had no wish to spend the rest of my days in one military barrack after another. I fell in love with Wenyan, and she became the center of my world. And you married her only a short time later? Yes, we were married a few weeks after we met. I did not want to waste any more time. Wenyan also had a difficult life. We both wanted to start anew. What do you know about Shi Wenyan's past? I think she was a bookkeeper for a time. She was an incredibly smart woman, but she struggled to find steady employment. An attractive and strong-minded woman like her is often seen as a threat. But that is what I love so much about her. That spark, that intelligence. Her curiosity and thirst for knowledge was unquenchable. That's why she spent so much time in this room. She loved to sit and read for hours. What can you tell me about General Zhang? Zhang Chao is more reptile than man, if you ask me. He courted my father's backing on many occasions, hoping to consolidate power in the shadows. But my father resisted until the end. He knew a man like Zhang could not be trusted. Zhang or Zhang? Let's say Zhang. Did Zhang attempt to contact you? Yes, more than once. But I had no patience for his odious nature, let alone his deplorable schemes. No, there was nothing for us to talk about. His advances were squarely rejected. As a matter of fact, I had to turn away one of his lackeys just this morning. What was the purpose of the visit? He came to remind me of some kind of special meeting taking place tonight. A gathering of so-called patriots assembled by Zhang himself. Apparently, an invitation was sent to my father before he died, but I long ago lost interest in such political antics to pay any attention to it. Smart man. The gathering is tonight? Do you know where your father put the invitation? No, I'm afraid not. Tell me more about your retirement from the Imperial forces. It was a clear repudiation of my father's wishes, but after his death I could no longer continue the charade. I grew tired of the political machinations of a perverted military upper class. Men like General Zhang who will abuse their power simply to perpetuate it. I found peace in my new life, something I could never dream of before. Tell me what happened here. I had been out all afternoon. When I came home, the servants had already retired to their private residence. Excuse me. But I knew something was wrong when I saw that the front gate was unlocked. Excuse me. I noticed the light from this room and assumed Wenyan was reading, as she has the habit of doing on most evenings. But when I stepped inside, there she was, dead, defiled, and drenched in her own blood. Where were you this afternoon? I was at a tea house discussing business with 2 friends. You can speak to them if you wish. I told this to your lieutenant already. Other than those involved, who knew about your meeting at the tea house this afternoon? No one. I was meeting my friends to discuss a small business venture. I see no reason for anyone to take interest in such a routine affair. How often were you having these meetings? 3 times a week. My friends are busy merchants. We do our best to schedule the meetings ahead of time, but I still don't understand why this is relevant. Because someone might have been keeping tabs of your comings and goings to kill your wife. It's precisely because these meetings were routine that they may be of relevance. Think of it. How did the killer know your wife would be alone? You're right. Someone knew my movements. How could I be so careless? Wenyan, what have I done? It's not your fault, dude. Did your wife have any enemies? People who would have wanted to harm her? My wife was a gentle and reserved person. She had no enemies. That's what a lot of people say. But obviously, she had at least one because she's dead. I hate when people say they have no enemies. Apparently, there's at least one that you didn't know about, dude. Then perhaps someone hurt her to get to you. I imagine a man in your position makes a few enemies along the way. But I had given all that up. I knew my retirement ruffled some feathers, but my decision was met with more ridicule than resentment. Truth be told, most people were happy to see me walk away. It gave them one more vacant position to fight over. Did anyone take special interest in your decision? Now that you mention it, General Zhang did pay me a visit. He wanted me to reconsider. He said a new regime was on the horizon and that I could play a key role in it. Had I promised him my allegiance, my father's troops would have followed my lead, but I refused him on the spot. I told him to leave and never come back. Do you think Zhang might be responsible for this? My father had warned me about his intimidation tactics. Did I underestimate his depravity? If he is responsible, he will pay with his life. I swear he will. I apologize. I suppose retirement did little to snuff out the fighter in me. Please find her killer, Magistrate D. We are both in your hands. D, you need to watch him to make sure he don't do something stupid. I noticed a rather odd feature in your water garden. A walkway seems to be missing. Seems to me? Seems to be? That's like... Seems to me missing. I feel that there's a phrase that's... It messed me up. This phrase messed me up. A walkway seems to be missing. Can you tell me why? Oh, that walkway is an old remnant from my father's military heydays. It opens a passage to a secret war room. I haven't used that room since he passed away, so I decided to keep the walkway closed. Perhaps it would be prudent for me to have a look. How is the walkway opened? Father would turn in his grave if he knew I let anyone else enter that room, but I suppose life is full of disappointments. Here's the lever that opens the walkway. Yay! And he had it on him on person? You'll need to figure out how to open the entrance on your own, though. I've long forgotten the combination. Oh my god. If it wasn't for the fact that you are a widower and going through a hard time, I would freaking smack you. That's all for now. Thank you, Mr. Lam. I would. I freaking would. I would so freaking smack him. Oh. Did I not look at the rose? What else am I missing? Oh god, is this it's pixel hunting. No, I hate pixel hunting. Oh, okay, this is what you do. I found this book by your wife's side. What can you tell me about it? I gave her this book as a present soon after we first met. I thought she enjoyed it as she had an obsession with classical literature. She often lamented the fact that as a young girl she wasn't permitted a proper education. So she was a bookkeeper, but she didn't have a proper education when she was a girl. Does that add up? It was only through perseverance that she taught herself how to read or write. Okay, she taught herself. She loved this book. Why would someone want to tear it up? It appears the killer knew enough about you and your wife to know what this book meant to both of you. Now can we leave? Darn it! What the heck am I supposed to do in this gosh darn room? Oh, rug fold. There we go. There it is, the note. Another one of the killer's notes. Why is he leaving a trail for us to follow? Is this some kind of game to him? To those who obey, look, pray be mine. I have no sway, but death shall align. Death shall align? How many are in his sights? Another pair of strange symbols. Still no hint as to what they mean. Now can I leave? Like I was trying to do a thing, and he refused. Oh, there's a slot. Okay. Perfect fit. Let's see what this lever does. Pull the lever! Why is everything shaking? And, okay, this is insane. And dude, we could just swim over here. Honestly. Someone who doesn't care about their clothes. Totally swim over here. Oh god. I don't even know how to play this. It's a stone table for playing Wiki. It's customary for scholars to learn the intricacies of this board game from a young age, but I have to admit I'm a bit rusty. Can... Hold on, let me try to do it. Can I get the thing on Wiki? Because I don't know how to pronounce this. I mean, not pronounce this. I don't know how to play this! Okay, yeah, back. Give me instructions. I need instructions. Please give me instructions. I need them instructions! This is so awkward walking this. It's like so. I know! Give me that wakey. Okay, time to read the scroll. Ladder breaker, net trap, rule of eternity, and building ports. All these positions, which ones are correct? I guess we try them all. Building forts. Dude legit forgot the combination, so we gotta figure out. Oh, I'm so mad. Okay. Looks like some kind of stone key. That's building forts? I don't know. Oh! Okay. Okay, we want the ladder. Eternal, and the white's ladder. So black. Wrong one. Wrong one. Which one's eternal? Rule of eternity. So the black needs to be that, and the white needs to be this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, down 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Two. Okay. And ladder. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 2. I don't know if I got it right on the first try. I'm so brilliant. It's a bit dark in here. That's better. Let's look at this map. There's a veritable fountain of knowledge down here. So you're not going to look at the map. Okay. Invitation. Woo! There's an invitation! This must be the invitation Lam Hai Feng spoke about. Of course his father had it in down here. Let's look at the armor. The Lam clan produced generations of warriors. No wonder Lam Hai Feng struggled for so long to find his own way. So that's all we needed was... Okay. That's all we needed. Let me look at the invitation, though. The Alliance needs you. Wear the East Pier aboard the Paradise Cloud. When the next time our messenger visits you. The meeting is tonight on the East Pier. I should head there now. Ooh, mace. Can we take the mace? Please, let's take the mace. But we did all of that just to get the invitation down here. This aged mace bears the dents and cracks of decades of combat. I want a mace! I want a mace! Nothing says clubbed weapon like a good mace. So yeah. Like, and let me recall, this should be episode 7 of the Recording Adventures, although this is, I say the 5th episode for Detective D. Run! Run, D-Renji! I mean, you need to disguise yourself, man. I think. Wait. Who's Mao Yi? Her lanterns have dotted the waterway with a surreal golden hue. She seems heartbroken. My first priority should be to board the Paradise Cloud. Aw, come on, man! You're taking away my fun! There's peoples. Come on, talk to the peoples. That must be the Paradise Cloud. Just as I suspected, it is a flower boat. I suppose there is no better way to win over men of weak moral fiber than to seduce them with lavish feasts and beautiful companions. Unfortunately, the ship's no longer docked. I'll need to find another way to reach it. There is a man down there. Let's see if we can talk to the guy in the boat. Zhang Ren? Excuse me, sir. May I trouble you for a moment? Quiet down! You're startling my catch. Can't you see I'm fishing here? Pardon the intrusion, but I assure you this is an important matter. Important? What could be more important than a man and fish locked in a primal battle for supremacy? If you insist on an answer, I would say that a district magistrate investigating a murder would count as being more important. What? Oh. I didn't mean to be rude. I get a bit obsessive about this hobby of mine. Who did you say you were? I am D. Renji, magistrate of Chang'an. I hope you will forgive me, Magistrate D. Like I said, I tend to take this pastime a bit too seriously. What can I help you with? Tell me about yourself. Do you come out often to fish at this hour? I'm a retired professor of history. My name is Zhang Ren. I always loved to fish, but my job occupied most of my time. So when I retired, I promised myself I would spend more time doing the things I like to do. Well, you can't fault him for that. But the pier gets a bit rowdy during the day, so I enjoy coming out at night when the waters are calm and all you can hear is the occasional laughter coming from the flower boat. Being here all alone, that's when I truly lose myself. There's nothing like the primal feeling of the life and death struggle between man and fish. Ha ha ha! Good one, young magistrate! What do you know about the flower boat? That's the Paradise Cloud. If you want to see the most beautiful courtesans in Shanghai sing and dance the night away, that's the place to be. But alas, a lowly commoner like me could hardly dream of stepping foot in such a place. Besides, rubbing elbows with aristocrats isn't exactly my idea of a good night out. Aristocrats? Uh-huh, I've seen them. High society types, you know? Powerful officials, rich merchants, foreign dignitaries. They file in at dusk and don't come out until dawn. You saw them embark tonight? Yes, a quiet bunch. Almost sneaky, if you ask me. Is this your boat? This whole thing? Been with me since Actually, I don't really remember. Not much to look at, I know, but it does the job. Then perhaps it can be a special service tonight. I need a ride. I have to board that flower boat. That flower boat? I'm afraid I can't help you with that. No, sirree, out of the question. But it's barely 20 meters away. This is a serious police matter. Police business or not, my boat won't be leaving this pier tonight. And if you must know why, I'll tell you why. The dead own the waters tonight. I don't follow. You see that woman on the north side of the pier? The one who's been releasing water lanterns into the river all night? Well, as far as I could gather, she's mourning the loss of her sister. Those lanterns are meant to guide the souls of the departed to the spirit world. You understand now? I may not be a superstitious man, but I know enough not to tempt fate, much less a grieving woman. But surely an educated man like you doesn't believe in ghosts. Education has nothing to do with it. If you're foolish enough to go out there and disturb the dead, by all means be my guest. But I won't risk myself or my boat becoming haunted by an angry ghost. You stay back. Stay put. I'll be back. Sure thing, Skipper. Oh, this is literally as far as we can go. Okay. Pardon me. May I have a word with you? I recognize that wingy cap. Are you an officer of some kind? I've done nothing wrong. I am Magistrate D. Renji. I'm not here to arrest you. Good. Then please leave me alone. I need to go back to my ceremony. I'm afraid I can't do that. Not until you've answered a few questions. Fine. What is it you want? Tell me about yourself. What are you doing here? My name is Mao Yi. I'm here because of my sister. She needs me. Your sister. Is her name Mao Wei? Yes. How did you know that? The envelopes you are holding in your arms so intently. They have her name on it. Oh yes. These are the letters she sent me before she died. My dear sister. She's the only one who ever understood me. She was younger than me, but she took care of me like she was my big sister. She was always so wise, so giving. Tell me about your sister. What happened to her? After marrying last spring, my sister moved to the neighboring city of Liuyang with her husband. She wrote me a letter almost every week. At first they seemed happy, but then came the news that her husband had been in an accident. A heavy stone had fallen on him, crushing the right side of his body. Most of his injuries healed, but his arm was permanently paralyzed. A stone mason with a lame right hand. Can you imagine? They fell on hard times. That's when her husband, despite my sister's protests, decided to take their savings and try his luck in the gambling dens. That fool threw away all they had left. But not only that, each time his pockets emptied, he borrowed from loan sharks to refill them. But the loan sharks didn't forget his debt. No, they didn't. Those ruffians have no conscience. They went to my sister's house and demanded payment. When her husband resisted, they beat him to death. After that, they made her responsible for the money he owed. They gave her 3 days to make payment, or else. That's when the letters stopped. And you believe your sister met the same fate her husband did? I would have heard news from her otherwise. I'm sure of it. I know my sister. She wouldn't have stopped writing to me unless something happened. Tell me about your sister's letters. Like I mentioned before, she sent me a letter every week without fail. She wrote such lovely letters, too. She shared with me everything that was happening in her life, just like when we were young, when we would talk all night. May I see the letters? I promise to return them straight away. All right, but please be careful with them. Are these ceremonial water lanterns? Yes, people say they can guide lost souls to the spirit world, where they belong. I need to help my sister find peace. Chances are your sister might be still alive. I mean, yeah, it could be that she's dead, but then the loan sharks wouldn't get their money. I know she's out there somewhere. I can feel it. I don't want her to wander the world of the living with no place to go. Thank you for sharing your story. All I want now is for my sister to rest in peace. My dear sister. Well, they hold an interest in me. This last one is quite interesting. The envelope it came with has a curious note written on it. Remove you and me, and 4 are left. Count using mother and father's birthdays and chosen words shall manifest. Anyway, my dear sister, not a moment goes by that I don't regret leaving our family home for this sorry existence. Now I fear for my life. My husband is dead. Before my own eyes, those gangsters battered him into oblivion. Now they want me to settle his debt, but 3 days is all they've given me. How can I pay them? They ask for the impossible. Hiding is my only option. They can go to hell. I plan to escape to the countryside, but east or west I have yet to decide. I promise to write again soon, but if you do not hear from me in 1 month, consider this a final farewell. Mao Wei. On the back of the envelope, your sister wrote a note. She mentions your mother and father's birthdays. Do you know the meaning of that note? I remember seeing that, but it didn't make any sense to me. My sister's never written anything like that to me before. I found it strange at first, but I didn't think much of it. Do you think it might be important? I haven't figured out yet, but there may be something to it. Would you indulge me and tell me the dates? Well, I suppose it couldn't do any harm. Let's see. My father's birthday is on the 9th day of the 11th month, and my mother's birthday is on the 4th day of the 1st month. I've uncovered the truth about your sister's last letter. The truth? I don't understand. Your sister didn't want to go into hiding without telling you, but she figured there was a chance those gangsters would intercept her letters on one of her plans. This letter was conceived to deceive. Within it, 2 messages are contained, one for them, another for you. I've deciphered the secret message. The first word is... Wait, what did he... She said 9th of the 11th month and 4th of the 1st month. Ninth of the 11th month, 4th of the 1st month. I said that right. Darn, where's the pencil? Oh, there they are. I found 2 pencils. so 9, 11, 4, 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm confused. Okay. I think I just need the whole thing copied. I'm trying to understand this. My dearest sister, not a moment goes by that I don't regret leaving our family home for this sorry existence. Now I fear for my life. My husband is dead before my own eyes. Those gangsters battered him into oblivion. Okay. I think that's all I need to write down. Okay, so 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's not it. Okay, I get it. So first one is not. First one's not. Fourth one is goes. I want to go with Oh, it's by paragraph. Frick. Well, that's interesting. So, okay, so let's see. The words. So it's either not. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not goes. Regret or our. So my dead these battered. Okay, and the next one is how pay 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 the hiding. I escape 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 east west. Grit battered. Pay. Okay. First word is so 9/11 not goes regret hour. Not dead. Not for dead. Hiding. East. My sister's alive! How clumsy of me! The truth is under my nose this whole time! Thank you, Magistrate D. You released me from a false burden. My sister's soul does not wander in the night as I had feared. These lanterns guide no one. Now they will serve only as a reminder that my sister still lives. I'm glad to see you so relieved. I'm so glad to see you so relieved. Here are your letters. Before I go, I'd like to ask a small favor of you. There was a fisherman sitting in his boat on the other side of the pier. He's been afraid to venture onto the water. Oh dear, my ritual. You must have been frightened by it. Indeed. If he speaks to you tonight, will you tell him your story? The truth about your sister and her letter? Yes, of course. That is a promise. I want to know if I was right. I hope I was right. Anyway, this is about to be over. We're almost to the hour mark. Whew, that one puzzle took me a second to figure out, didn't it? But now I really do want to figure out if I was right. So yeah, I'm going to cheat a little bit to see if I had the right answer. Give me a sec. Okay, so I cheated. I was right. Woo! That's all that matters. I was right. Okay. Excuse me. Good news! I've spoken to the woman across the pier. It seems her lantern ritual is not necessary after all. Her sister is in fact still alive. She was led astray by a cryptic letter that I have now deciphered. You may speak to her to know more if that pleases you. She's even agreed to show you the letter. Well, isn't that something? To think I've been sitting here all night afraid of some regular old lanterns. It looks like we wasted enough time already. Let's get you on the flower boat. Woo! Well, I sure hope your lady friend is worth all this trouble. This isn't what you think. No need to explain, I was a young man once. Now off you go, I've got my own prey to return to. Ha ha ha. Okay, I like this guy though. Question, how am I gonna get off the boat though? I don't think D thought this through. He has no backup. Darn it, D. I need to find General Zhang. Well, what we're going to do is actually save the game. Yes. Right here. So, we got to the first part. Will I finish chapter 2 in the second part? Tune in to find out. Excuse me. About to burp again. But I'm liking this party. I don't think I like the people, but I'm liking this party. But yeah, we need to find General Zhang, which is coming up. So we finally meet Zhang. Dun dun dun! But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys Tuesday.